Well, my name is Brinsley McNamara, and welcome to the Weird Ireland podcast. Ireland gets called the land of saints and scholars, and we sure do have a lot of the former. Of all these saints, outside of Ireland, St. Patrick is our most well-known mascot, with St. Patrick's Day, the 17th of March, being celebrated all around the world as basically International Ireland Day. However, here at home, his supreme saintly status is followed closely by that of St. Bridget. If there's three things you'll know about St. Bridget, it's the reed-woven St. Bridget's crosses that are nearly as iconic as the big stone Celtic crosses, St. Bridget's Day, the 1st of February, and most recently, the St. Bridget's Bank Holiday, which falls on the Monday after the 1st of February. And moreover, like Paddy's Day, St. Bridget's Day is more and more being celebrated in Ireland as one of the great festival days of the year. Which is why I'm in Killorglin, County Kerry, to talk to Neil Browne about Killorglin's Biddys Day Festival. How are you getting on today, Neil?
Yeah, I'm good, Brinsley, thanks. Weather's not great, but we're in Killorglin, so yeah, it's all good.
Traditional Bridget's Day weather, no?
That's about it. Yeah, I think we can't really do a whole lot with on February the 1st in Ireland. I think you're going to take that chance with weather, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean that's impacted today's Biddy's Day actually, but maybe I'm getting ahead of myself there. Well, let's go back to what Biddy's Day is. So Neil, tell me what is the Biddy's Day celebration here in Killorglin? Is that the correct name for the Biddy's Day festival, or what do you call it?
Yeah, so we are the Biddy's Day. We call ourselves Biddy's Day. We also the committee goes by Mid-Kerry Biddy, because while Biddy's Day is centred in Killorglin, in Kerry, it does encompass all of Mid-Kerry, and we do our best to try and encompass all of Mid-Kerry, all the different townlands in the rural community.
It's a big county, like, you know. What's your reach for Mid-Kerry?
We will reach as far as Bridget's cloak if we can. That's going to be our goal, to spread that cloak and let it go.
In County Kildare, Kildare, like.
We'll go as far as we can. We're going to spread it across Kerry, and we're going to start in Mid-Kerry, and we're going to keep going.
All right. So aside from your Mid-Kerry expansionist agenda, what
ongoing expansionist?
Ongoing expansionist, yeah. So today's the 1st of February. Yeah. It's St. Bridget's Day, the traditional St. Bridget's Day.
Absolutely,
Láile Brigid. And what happens in Killorglin for St. Bridget's Day and the days around it?
So the day itself and the days around it. So Biddy's Day, we're a festival in Kerry, in Killorglin, obviously. On the day today, traditionally, we would always do our Biddy's Day parade, where we would march our biddies from local communities and townlands. We would celebrate and parade around the town with fire, with floats, with young and old. That's always a huge event, and it's gotten bigger and bigger as the years have gone by. It's been really lovely to see that very obvious passion and growth, and how it's been picked up and accepted by the town and by the county as a whole. Outside of the parade, which I'm sure we will come back to, we have a number of events. So we pride ourselves on trying to grow, revitalize, rekindle, carry on traditions. Folklore traditions, Irish traditions. We're very lucky in Killorglin. We have some very talented folklorists and traditionalists. We have people like Mike Coffey. We've got wonderful artists around the place that can teach us these traditional practices. So we do hat weaving, we do sugan weaving, we do Brigid cross making, we do films, talks, workshops, craft shops, costumes. Kids are welcome for everything. We do lantern making workshops. We try to make sure that everybody in the community, young or old, can get involved in some aspect of the festival. You know, it is completely inclusive of everybody.
And you mentioned traditions there. What are the traditions for Bridget's Day, for Biddy's Day here? And I mean, it's called Biddy's Day, Biddy boys. Am I right in saying, is that the term for?
Yeah.
What is a Biddy boy, or what's that part of the tradition here?
The biddies, I suppose, more than anything, probably more. It would be more, I guess, probably the Wren boys and the Straw boys. The biddies would be biddies rather than the Biddy boy, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Right.
What is the tradition? Well, I suppose if I rewind a little bit, even down to last night. So today is February the 1st. Last night would have been the eve of St. Bridget's Day. So one of the traditions that would have been has been really uptaken is the idea of the brat breed, and this cloth, this fabric, this scarf. It can be anything. It can be a towel. It can be a sock. It can be anything. And the idea that we put it outside our house for it to be imbued and blessed by the spirit, to keep to warden off sickness and ill health. We can cut those fabrics up. We can, 50 years ago, it used to be put outside the front of houses, and then the family would come with scissors and cut it up.
Mm-hmm.
And each of the kids or each of the people would put a little patch of it. They might sew it into the inside of their jacket. They might put it into their shoe. They might, they'll keep it on them throughout the year. They'll put it out
Throughout the year,
yeah.
Wow.
They'll put it over in the barn where the animals are to make sure that the animals stay well. So there's a real healing properties around that. That's a tradition that has been going on for 50 years. That probably lost its way in the last while, and over the last number of years, through the rekindling of interest in St. Bridget, and very much through our work here in Killorglin and those gone before us, that has become a very big and very special event. It's a private event. There's something very sweet and tender about it, that people do that individually on their own,
And it's pardon me. I mean, that's something that I'm seeing. That's something growing up I never heard about, the putting the cloth out for on St. Bridget's Eve. But it's something these days. Even yesterday, I saw on social media quite a lot from a lot of accounts.
Yeah,
it's making a comeback. Interestingly enough, do you know the tradition where around Christmas, I think Christmas Eve, you take the straw from the nativity crib and hold on to it for a year? I've actually got some in my wallet.
Really?
It's good luck. Yeah.
And is it similar to the idea of the brat breed, where people can keep it on them, is it, or to imbue it with
hold on to it for good luck or for good fortune? Yeah, I have it in my wallet right now. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow, tremendous. Or I'm hanging out with you for the day.
Yeah. Rub it off me. Sure, I'm not going to give you any. I was going to offer you some there, and I'm going to hold on to that. Sorry.
I know the
get your own straw next.
I
year.
know the boundaries. Well, you've just talked yourself out of a brat breed.
Feck it.
but even like we walking through Killorglin last night, I could see pieces of cloth on bushes or on house walls. Coming out of windows. And it was beautiful because it's a private and intimate thing to do.
Yeah, and that's going back a long time, I've no doubt.
Absolutely, going back a long time. And even as part of the festival, we had a lovely workshop here facilitated by Sally Ann Garrett, where she came in and spoke about the brat breed, and there was a wonderful group of women, enthusiastic women, that came to it, and they were knitting and sewing and sharing stories and dressing up their brat breed, so making it individual, making it bespoke to them and to their family and to their wishes and requirements.
Cool.
It's wonderful, yeah.
And I'm sure you do Bridget's crosses making as well?
We absolutely do, and we love them, and we do them, we try and do them with everything. We've got 12-foot Bridget crosses, and we've got
Bridget. What do you make it out of?
We make them out of.
That's like one of me stacked on top of it. Two me stacked on top.
It's big. It's big. It's those ones are made out of insulation piping.
All right.
That go on pipes in on the house. And they were made by some wonderful lads here in the Shan School, where we're talking with the artist Quiva Dunn. Wicker as well, and willow. We do a lot of work with willow crosses there, and the rushes, of course. So the rushes would be the very famous,
traditional one.
Traditional
yeah,
one. Absolutely.
Yeah. There, for anyone that doesn't know, Bridget's cross is it's a cross like any other cross, but rather than 3 of the points being equal distance and one being longer, it's the four sides of it are equal length.
We have the Kerry cross, which is quite unique looking. I'll show you a picture of that shortly. So this would have been the traditional version of it. I actually have a tattoo of it on my finger.
Oh right, let me see that.
Sorry.
You were a punk, were you?
It was deliberately.
He's flipping me off with it.
This is a little homage to my brother. So my brother always flipped me off. So I thought I'd have to get a tattoo of Bridget's cross on my finger for him. So,
all right, no, looks good. It's cool. It's very cool, to be honest. Yeah.
So it was all right. Yeah, but so that's a version of the cross that we have.
The cross, like we said, when I was in primary school in Mullingar, even we made those. My mum showed me before how to make them. That's all over the country.
Yeah.
But the Biddy Boys thing, coming back to that, that's something I was aware of.
Yeah.
But it's not at all where I'm from. It's a thing, and I've heard from people it's mostly Munster and parts of the west of Ireland. People still do the Biddy's boy tradition. They dress up like They dress up in all white, or what's their sorry, pardon me, the biddies,
Of course,
the
yeah.
biddies. Yeah, pardon me. I always read online the biddy boys from older accounts. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's an older way of saying it.
And there's no wrong way to say it. Yeah, so you're saying it absolutely.
What else is their uniform, or at least here in Killorglin, how do they dress? I don't know if uniform is the word, but
uniform is the word.
really,
yeah.
It's a pretty kind of officious kind of thing.
It's quite. It was some groupings absolutely. It would be very officious, and it would be very important to their look. So even that idea, and it's a really good point. So the traditional costume of the biddy would be white.
Yeah.
So it would be. It doesn't necessarily have to be, like a shirt or so. It can just be white. And then it would have started with anything. Would have started with bed sheets with holes cut out them, or pillows. Some of the wonderful old pictures going back there, there was Weetabix boxes with holes cut out, and they just throw it over their head and they'd go. But there are a number of groups. So we have, I think, our last count, as of this year, we had 12. I think we had 12 biddies groups, and each of those. So Killorglin, for example, would have why they would wear white, they would wear a specific color over it. I personally am a member of a group called the Graveyard Biddies, so we are a little bit more gothic and a little bit more we lean towards kind of the skeletal looks and dark and stuff like that. So our colors would be darker. They'd be still wearing the traditional white, but we use red and black to complement them. Killorglin would use, my coffee's going to kill me if I get these colours wrong, but I think he uses red and green. And then other biddies would use complementing colours. So we each have our own little group.
These are like brigades, kind of like, and like where they wear their colours. Like,
it's a really good word for it. Absolutely, yeah. They pretty much are like brigades, yeah. And there's tremendous stock put in them,
So they take this very seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, we were mentioning there today we've got England v Ireland first match of the Six Nations on today, so it's the corker. But you were saying to me earlier on for the biddies,
regardless of what match,
what's going on?
Ireland could be winning the World Cup final right now, but biddies groups will still be getting dressed and ready for biddies.
Brilliant.
It is that important to people in this locale. It is a lifeline, a tradition. It is a heritage. It's everything, And there are groups, Killorglin and beyond, where you can look. There are grandparents, great grandparents, parents, children. There are 4 or 5 generations in the same group, walking up and down the town, parading into houses. Keeping the tradition alive. It's deeply rooted in people.
When I mentioned earlier, we were talking about the weather and affecting the festival. What was supposed to happen today is at 7 o'clock. What time are we on now? It's like 5:30 or something like that. I think the game's on now. Whatever. Is it? Yeah. I'll check the score. I'll check the score at some point. But at 7 o'clock this evening, what was supposed to happen is there was meant to be a parade of biddies down the middle of Killorglin town.
Yeah.
The weather's meant to sour. It's not too bad looking right now, so that's off. So what would the parade normally look like on Biddy's Day here, and what's going to happen instead?
Yeah, so the parade is quite a spectacle. So there is, as I said, what would hypothetically have happened this evening would be there would be 11 biddies groups. Between those biddies groups, we've got pikemen. These are men dressed in black. They hold a big pike with a flaming sod of turf on it. Fire being a very important element with Bridget. So we have fire elements within it. We've the wonderful artist Quiva Dunn, who's worked with us over a number of years building floats. She built the most gorgeous. I'd say it's probably about 12, 13 feet, maybe even more. It's a big breed oak. That lights up, and there's the bull, the traditional bull, which would be synonymous with Bridget as well, with the red-eared bull. We have all these elements in the parade, and they're all lit up. Children get involved there in their burlap sacks. We try and get everybody involved and dress up, so people play the characters, they play the parts, they wearing their uniform, they're representing their townland. The festival itself takes about half an hour to get up to town, and then normally it'll congregate in a public place. This year was meant to be in the Fairfield, the big car park in the centre of town, and from then the groups would then perform their skits and their pieces. After that, we would disperse, and everybody goes into bars or goes into restaurants, goes into town as groups, as biddies. Some of them go away from town, go back to their own townland, and they would visit houses, private houses. The Graveyard Biddy, we would always spend time going around the pubs, making sure that we meet people that we can see, and the reception every year. The reception that the biddies get is just, it's incredible. Like, it's there's something really, I don't know, magical seems like too much of a cliche of a word, but there is something otherworldly about it. People are really invested in it.
It's a connection to the past. It's a great connection to the past, and you can feel it and see it.
Yeah,
that kind of a sense.
Absolutely, and it is.
It's not even the past. It's a current living thing. It's not a. Do you know what I mean? It's not.
Great point.
Yeah, it's not. It's not a. It's not a past thing. It's still it's living and going. Yeah.
Yeah, and even on that point, I think at one stage, there would have been a time, not in the too distant past, where while this tradition would have been ongoing, it would have been at a much lesser ability. There's always stalwarts that will always be out there every year doing it, to raise it, to bring it back into the consciousness, to make sure that this tradition stays alive. We were lucky and fortunate because we had some tremendous visionaries in the town. My own late brother Connor, and Josie O'Donnell, Mike Coffey, some of the Declan Evans, Tom Totty, Tom O'Sullivan. Sorry, everybody's a nickname in Killorglin, so
I've heard that about Kerry. That's big for nicknames.
Everybody is a nickname. But great visionaries that started it in 2016. It was, St. Bridget's Day wasn't a bank holiday until 23. So we were 6-7 years ahead of the curve.
Has that impacted the festival much? Made it more popular, or done much of the weekend? Having the Monday the 3rd is going to be the bank holiday this year.
It has, absolutely, it has. I think people, when as Bridget is more raised in people's consciousness, and some people explore what to do around that festival, people start looking, right, what is there, and very often they can see authentically that Biddy's Day has been there and has always been there. This isn't something new that we just latch on to and say, hey, look at us, we're part of it. We've been doing this. The mid-Kerry, Killorglin and beyond have been doing this for 70, 80 years.
Absolutely,
so it's the rest of the country catching up with us, dare I say, and we're happy to have them on board and just see everything that Bridget and both Bridget the Saint and Bridget the Goddess have to offer.
And am I right in saying that the biddies carry some kind of an effigy of Bridget?
That's right, yeah, the Breed Og.
The Breed Og. Do you guys, does that happen here, or what is that exactly?
Yeah. So the Breed Og is carried, traditionally carried, now people are going to be shouting down the podcast at me, but traditionally carried by the captain. So each group would have a captain.
Yeah.
Now, there's positional heads there. So the captain would carry the Breed Og, and the Breed Og would be an effigy to ward off evil, to ward off harm. Our Breed Og, the graveyard Biddy Breed Og, has a skeleton head.
Right.
Killorglin is one, is a doll. So everybody has a different one, and it's the representation of Bridget, that she's there over your group, that she's part and that you're leading off from her.
Wow, I don't know what that's like. It's not like a back of Mullingar. I don't know what'll be going on tonight though.
It's they come from Biddy's groups come with, there's expectations, I suppose. There's music that'll be there. The Breed Og will be there. Brush dancing. You mentioned that to me earlier in one of your messages, actually. Will we be seeing that later? I hope so. Yeah, we have a wonderful brush dancer in town, Timmy, and I hope he'll be out later. He will be out later. So the idea of brush dancing even is, in typical Kerry fashion, don't ever let the fact that you haven't got a partner stop you from dancing. Grab a brush and go at it and keep at it. And it's great. And yeah, have you ever seen anybody?
I've once during the Flackhole in Mullingar in 2022. I saw it once. I didn't really know what it was, to be honest. What does it look like if people can't picture it?
Brush dancing. So the brush is laid on the floor, head facing away from you and the stick facing towards you, and you're going to do your 1, 2, 3 step, jump over the handle, 1, 2, 3, jump over the handle, keep doing that, and then the brush comes up, you're going to lift your leg and jump over that, then the brush comes higher and you lift your leg and jump over that. It's fabulous. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's unusual. It's funny. It's great. It's and the crowd love it.
Yeah.
They get really taken in with it. Yeah.
You mentioned skits. What are the skits that biddies perform?
Yeah, so there's music, and so some people have a set list of songs. There's polkas, there's jigs. So everybody will, groups will have their own songs. So you can be identifiable as a group by the music you play as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there a sense where the units or the brigades or the groups are trying to outdo each other in costume or in skits or in?
I think if you formally ask any one of the groups, they'd politely and wryly smile at you and say, God, no, of course not. And I think the minute that they close the door, they're all like, yeah, fuck, we are, absolutely. And I think that there's a real playful energy around it, you know.
Yeah.
It's not a competitive nature at all. I think everybody is, you know, we are supporting the same cause, as in the same tradition. But groups do absolutely, like, so Townlands, as I said, like the graveyard, we are the graveyard committee. We, part of our group as well, part of our remit as well, we go around and we do some collecting for charities and all the groups do. So a lot of any of the money collected that we'd shake our bucket, and if anybody gave it to us, all that money then goes to charity. So it goes to national schools, goes to hospice, it goes to upkeep of local centres. So.
I was going to mention about the money gathering because the Wren Boys is a more well-known tradition that's very similar to St. Stephen's Day one.
Yeah.
It's where people dress up traditionally in, you know, it could be nearly anything. A lot of time look like Halloween costumes. And they'd go door to door traditionally, play music, they'd be given some money, and very traditionally, at least in the John B. Keane novel, The Bowron Makers, pardon me, in that one they use it to organise a party. Sometimes on Bridget's Day, I think, actually. Just a session for themselves. But in this day and age, normally that goes to charity. That's the case here. And is that an old tradition, playing music? Is it a door-to-door thing tradition? You go door-to-door as a biddy?
There's a Killorglin at National School. They would be, I suppose, now Mike will love me saying this, and so Mike, if you're listening to this is for you.
Mike.
They are Mike Coffey. They are the originators. So they would go to, even I believe is it tonight or tomorrow now, Cassan's Crossroads. That'll be absolutely full. There will be hundreds of people at that celebrating that. So the old tradition would be the Biddies group would go door to door. They'd knock on the door, and the line would be, "Is the Biddy welcome here?" So the effigy would be presented, and "Is the Biddy welcome here?" That was the line you would do. The answer was always yes. And when the Biddy was welcome there, was invited into the house. And there would be a bit of notice. They would know that the biddies are out. So that it's entirely possible that there could be an extended family there, that they'd come in. And then the biddies would perform for that. And they'd pick up the people locally in the house. And everybody would dance around the kitchen. So it was very much a community. And this was a rural community thing. These are people that, you know, had to drive to get anywhere. And groups going out to them and engaging with them and spending nights with them, you know. Bringing the party to them, bringing the tradition to them was great.
Right.
There was a fair amount of drink involved as well.
But it's still like that to this day. Well, Bridget's Day falls on a Saturday today this year, so
and a bank holiday.
And a bank holiday, yeah. They've only made it matter.
She was the goddess of alcohol, beer.
Really?
Yeah, the goddess of beer. Yeah.
Holy God.
Yeah.
Well, sure, rightly so now, hey?
Absolutely. So it'd be a shame not to just wet the whistle a little bit in tradition for her. Like,
in that sense, I mentioned at the beginning about, you know, St. Patrick's, the more well-known patron saint of Ireland. I will mention there's 3 patron saints, Bridget, Patrick and Columba, and nobody's big up in St. Columba, not yet.
Not yet. Give us another couple of years, we'll have a festival for him as well.
His feast day is actually the 9th of June, so it's a good time of year.
Oh, it is.
Very good time of year to do something, but look...
We're just coming off the back of another festival. We do an arts festival on the June Bank holiday weekend, K-Fest.
All right. What's it called, sorry?
K-Fest.
How do you spell, just with a K?
K, yeah.
Oh, really?
F-E-S-T, K for Killorglin.
Right.
Or Kerry.
Or Kerry.
So
either or.
To widen that. So we've that festival on that weekend. So St. Columba, 9th of June.
9th of June, St. Columba's Day, yeah. There is some parts in Durrow, County Offaly that actually do a procession on that day, I'm pretty sure, to one of his wells. I'm pretty sure.
What's he famous for?
St. Columba.
Yeah.
He established monasteries in mostly in Western Scotland, actually. Am I right in saying he established the monastery in Iona?
Oh, yes.
I think that's St. Columba.
On the island.
Yeah. He's way... there's a lot known about his life, but he's nowhere near as popular as Bridget or Patrick. But anyways... St. Patrick's Day, it's got, I mean, a lot of people say St. Patrick's Day these days is pretty much nothing to do with St. Patrick anymore.
Yeah,
it's International Ireland Day, and why not? You know, we need one of those.
Yeah.
How does St. Bridget's Day, because we mentioned a bit, you know, goddess of booze and all this sort of thing. How is St. Patrick's Day and St. Bridget's Day different in Killorglin or in general? Or would you say they're a similar thing?
They're not similar, but I don't want to sound disingenuous. They're not similar, but they're not too far apart. I think if the question is about how are they received in Killorglin specifically, with open arms and celebration, I think.
Yeah.
You know, we don't make them drink festivals. We don't make them those raucous events. We make them about celebration. I think
community, and you know,
community, and genuine. That probably sounds really trite, but it is. There's a real sense of that. Like you know, tonight, if we go on at 1 o'clock, we're not going to see people falling around the town drunk celebrating St. Bridget's Day. There's going to be dancing, there's going to be singing, there's going to be merriment. We're going to hear a lot of live music and a lot of dancing.
Brilliant, yeah. Is there going to be is there a particular instruments? Is it kind of, you know?
I don't know. Is there a particular instrument? A lot of the accordion. A lot of the accordion would be there. The guitar, the violin.
Uilleann pipes at all?
Some uilleann pipes, yeah. Tin whistle, very popular as well.
Yeah, easy to carry.
That'll be flying around the place. So I've got a good friend, and whenever she goes out, she just pulls the tin whistle out of her top pocket, and it's great.
It's a handy instrument.
Wonderful.
Yeah. You know, you got to pity sometimes harp players. I don't know how they carry that thing around.
Absolutely. Yeah. When I was younger, I bought a harmonica and a tin whistle. And a jacket,
made up.
And a jacket to see which one it would fit. So the harmonica won, but I still can't play either the two of them.
Are you dressing up?
Tonight I normally would. And we might yet.
Right.
But we would, yeah. So the hats, you know, the straw hats would be a huge part of things.
Biddies typically wear a woven straw hat, do you?
Yeah. Very, very, very important to the costume. Very, very important. That would be one of the big markers. And similar enough, I suppose, to the Straw Boys and the Wren Boys. There's some wonderful makers of straw hats. Mike Coffey, who I've mentioned before, Timmy Shea is a wonderful straw hat maker. Porg O'Rourke, actually from Cork, who is part of our group, and he's a historian, a wonderful historian, and so excitable about any of these traditions and any of this folklore. So he comes down to us every year and brings these wonderful, wild, mad creations woven from straw. I'll show you a few pictures of them, but they're just wonderful. They're wonderful. This is the man who every year on Halloween burns like a 15-foot straw effigy in his garden,
like a wicker man, or
for his two sons to celebrate it. Yeah, it's tremendous enthusiast and keeper of that tradition. The straw hats, big features, and again, I suppose just like the uniform side of things, each of those hats can be imbued with their own kind of personal things. So some people even put, they put flowers on it, real or fake, depending on the time of year or the durability of it. Some people even put, with leftover from Christmas, some people put like tinsel and stuff on it. Somebody coming now.
No worries, there might be somebody. We're actually recording this in a community centre. Where are we doing this exactly?
Yeah, in the Shanskull in Killorglin. So this is a multi-purpose room. At the moment it's laid out for the Redeemed Christian Church.
Yeah, we're just I was kind of joking, we might have a congregation coming in at some point. We could, well, I don't know. We'll keep you up to date if that happens.
They're gone in.
All right. Oh, they're on the other side.
Yeah.
That's grand, yeah. I mean, on that note of being in the community centre, and you mentioned, how the festival here for St. Bridget, Loyal Bridget, do you normally say Biddy's Day, Loyal Bridget, Bridget's Day?
Biddy's Day is
how you said here, yeah.
Biddy,
We've got a wall here. We've got a wall of about 30, I want to say, photograph portraits in black and white. What can you tell me about those?
Yeah, so this is an incentive that we started. I guess through the community, passing the community, I've worn some hats. And one of my hats was part of another festival, K-Fest, the arts festival that I mentioned. And we commissioned a series of portraits over the years. So this has been running since 2014, I suppose. And the idea behind it is that just locals of our town that humbly serve the community, whether it be through their work, whether it be through their charity, through their sporting, through any part, any aspect that they do. So as we look here in this room, I can see about 30 of them. Man, woman, brothers, sisters. There's brothers, sisters. There's fathers. There's daughters. There's sons. There's everything. I'm lucky enough to have two of my own family on the wall. Actually, I have my father, Billy, who's a big servant to the town for a long time, and my late twin brother Connor, who would have been in K-Fest with me and also would have been one of the founders of Biddy's Day.
Wow, yeah.
That's when it started in 2016. So as well as Noreen Gillespie, I see Noreen there as well, and Noreen would be a member of the Biddy's Day committee. But everybody on the wall, some of them are no longer with us, God rest them, but tremendous
Terrific tribute to the town and the people in that.
absolutely tremendous servants. Yeah, tremendous servants of the town.
Are you aware of any other Biddy's Day or St. Bridget's Day festival like what's going to happen in what's happening in Killorglin now and what's going to happen this evening?
Not in the same. There are, I suppose, since it became a bank holiday and since it rose in awareness, I guess there is the obvious one in Kildare, I suppose, which would be hailed as her home. But not to the same degree. Like while ours is a celebration of Bridget in every way, and we do take that very, very seriously, ours is also Biddies. We are the Biddies. This is where this comes from. So, but since starting it, it's next year. I think next year is its 10th year. Yeah, so next year.
Oh, brilliant!
Will
That
be
is
the
right.
10th year of the festival,
Right.
and through then over the years we've gotten a number of contacts from different people. There's a girl from a townland nearby who's moved to Australia and has set up a Biddy's group in Australia.
Oh wow! What, like in the white uniform and that?
I believe so.
Oh,
I
wow.
believe so. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and a big festival. We've people from Armagh that are contacting us, and they're asking us, what do I need to set up a Biddy's group? So you can kind of lay out the white, the uniform, the effigy, the hats, and and they take that on, and we supply them information. And they can come back to us and they can, ask us questions. We want to spread this. We're not going to be, there's no part of us selfish about this tradition. If this tradition can grow, it'll always be of Mid-Kerry, but we want everybody to have it and everybody to.
Would you
to
say
own
these
it.
types of older traditional, as in Biddies have been around since a long time? Is there sort of a comeback happening in parts of the country, or is it getting more popular again?
Absolutely, yeah, I believe it. Even in a microcosmic example like here, before this festival started, there was 2 groups still going around the place. Killorglin, still going around the place. Now, 10 years later, we had 12 groups this year, with more people wanting to start it, and people knowing that there's being open, and there's no right and wrong way to start a Biddy's group, and you can start it and see how it goes. We've got even our graveyard Biddies, that's 10 friends, and that's all we are 10 friends that just came together. And we said, when Connor was unwell, my brother, he asked, can we set one up, and we did it for love and respect for him, and it's still going strong. And now we meet regularly and we love it. It is a community for us. We use it as a remembrance for a friend gone by and a way to continue to relate to each other.
In a way, these Biddies groups, I mean, Biddy's Day is one day of the year, and then there's the Bridget's Eve the night before, and then there's the whole bank holiday weekend.
Yeah.
But in a way, are ye meeting and working on this all year round, making hats, making uniforms, working on what you're going to do, or practicing?
There are people in this community that work year round on this. That when the festival ends, we can immediately see, right, what do we need to do for the festival next year. There's people that when the parade ends, they look at their group and say, right, we know we need this and this for our parade next year.
Yeah.
We are always trying to push it on, and even the information side of things, the history is everywhere, and trying to collect it and resource it all, and to not even to compact it. You can't compact something like this, but to inform ourselves as best we can, and respect it and pass that along, continue to pass that along, because we are becoming, I guess what is happening is that we are becoming a hub. More and more people are messaging us as Biddy's Day, looking for information about Bridget.
Right.
And taking on that responsibility and being those, bearers of that, and those caretakers of that is something we take very seriously. Something that we want to keep going on.
I think it is gonna get bigger. I mean, with the bank holidays only gonna really make it a big thing, and and some people celebrate it as Bridget's Day, and some as Biddy's Day with the biddies aspect of it. But then there's the Imbolc aspect of it too, the old Celtic spring, the old Celtic beginning of spring tradition.
Absolutely,
So I think it's going to take off big time all around the country.
It's such
it has huge potential.
Oh, it's such crack.
Huge.
It's great crack though. To go out and to go out in the rain or the sun or the dark, and with a torch and an effigy, dressed up, listening to music, dancing with your neighbour, dancing with a brush, it doesn't matter. It's just, it's just great crack.
It's that word we didn't want to use earlier, magic.
Magic. Absolutely. It is. It is. There's something just very special about it. And as tired or exhausted you can be after running a festival like this, and there is a lot of work in these things. We always say at our group, come together at the end of an evening after the parade, and you could lift a car. Like, you're so full of energy, you're so full of spirit and everything. It just there is something special. There is something magical about it. I don't know what it is.
Well, luckily, I've never seen it. You've seen it many, many times, but I get to experience it, in fact, in about 1 hour. What do you think? I don't want to cut this short in case you got anything more to say, but I know you're going to be busy pretty soon. Is there anything else you want to mention?
I suppose just if I could selfishly, I suppose just offer, like, this was started by a small group of people that sat in a bar, and just said, we have something very special here that not other towns or townlands or countries or counties or anything has. And how do we drive it on? How do we keep it alive? And it's not for personal gain. It's not for profit. It's not for money. It's not for anything. It's because we have it. It's because it's ours, and to maintain it. And that's our attitude as the Biddy's Day committee. Our attitude every time we walk into a meeting or every time we come out of an event is, please God, people have learned something and can pass that information on, and that we can continue to pass it on. So we're just very thankful and grateful for the people that came before us. Our the committee members change every year. And just a shout out just to the tremendous work that the group do, and to honour those that came before us. So a big thank you just to the original group, and to my dear brother whose idea it was to set up that original meeting.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, very very special.
Well, I was going to say, if anybody out there in the country or even abroad wants to know more about Biddy's Day or how you set up this kind of thing, is there anywhere they can get in contact with you or the committee?
Yeah, absolutely. biddysday@gmail.com. We endeavour to try and answer everything as quickly as we can. If we don't have the answer, we'll do everything we can to direct you in the right way. If we do have the answer, be prepared, because we will talk your ear off. We're that passionate about it. We'll give you everything you want and everything you need. So please don't be shy. Reach out, and we'd love to, if you're even thinking about it as an excuse just for a night out or something to do, either come down to us or set up your own. And
or for next year's one in 2025, swing down for the 1st of February, 31st of January, that kind of time, which is going to be a Sunday leading into a bank holiday Monday next year, I'm going to guess.
So we normally do the parade. I suppose the parade will always be on the Saturday, the bank holiday. So is that
that would be I'm going to guess, that would be January 21st. Okay.
That'll be.
So you always do it on you don't necessarily do it on Bridget's Day.
We always do an event on Bridget's Day, so the flame will go on Bridget's Day. You've got me thinking now. Maybe the parade will go to the Sunday. We'll
just because then you've got a bank holiday the next day, one way or another. Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah, what a good idea that bank holiday was. It was a great idea, honestly. It was terrific. Absolutely terrific idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Honor the event, honor the occasion, honor the saint, honor the goddess. give us a Monday off too. You know, let us get over the parade and the drink and have a day off. Too.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, Neil, I think will we head on into town and see what's going on or what?
Absolutely, Brinsley. First point on me.
Oh, great, mega! Thank you very much. You got me excited now.
Thank you.
All right, well, look, Neil, I'm going to shake your hand, even though nobody can hear that or see it.
That is the sound of a handshake.
That's the sound of a handshake. Yeah, it needs its own microphone. All right, well, thanks, Neil, for having me down and for being part of this podcast. By all means, because I know this is like game day. This is event day for you, you know. So thanks for taking time to talk about Biddy's Day.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Genuinely, thank you.
Cheers. I want to thank as well you, the listener, for listening. Thanks for listening, and see you somewhere else in the Weird Ireland podcast.